Hello friend, welcome to the Java Puzzle. Today we are going to discuss about Google Cloud Spanner with Spring Boot. And here, before moving to the coding part, let's discuss about what is the Google Cloud Spanner. So as we know that we have a SQL and no SQL. So generally we know that the SQL is strong consistency, standard query language, and it contains ACID transaction. And in case of NoSQL, it is a horizontal, scalable, and highly available. But there is a one new concept is came, which is a new SQL. New SQL is a class of modern relational database management system that seek to provide the same scalable performance of NoSQL system for online transaction processing, like OLTP, read-write workload while still maintaining the ACID guarantee of traditional database system. And for this category, we have a Google Spanner. Now, if you know that about the CAP theorem, it is impossible for a distributed computer system to simultaneously provide more than 2 out of 3 following guarantees. So C is denoted as a consistency, A is denoted as the availability, and P is denoted as a partition tolerance. So it's totally impossible for a distributed computer system to provide more than two out of these three. So this cloud spanner is not just a software, it is a union of software hardware in form of atomic clock in Google data center, an incredibly robust network connecting their data center together. So it's not just a writing code, it a lot of investment and a lot of operational expertise that Google excel at. Then this Cloud Spanner. So with Cloud Spanner, you can enjoy all the traditional benefit of SQL database like ACID transaction, highly availability through synchronous replication, schemas, SQL query, scale horizontally, managed by Google SRE team. Then if we will compare this cloud spanner, or we can say new SQL, with our traditional relational database and NoSQL database. So as we know that there is a schema present in the cloud spanner and in a traditional relationship, but NoSQL there is no any schema. There is a document, right? Then SQL query we can be write in a cloud spanner and in a relational RDBMS, but it's not present in the NoSQL. Same like consistency is a strong in a cloud spanner and in a RDMS, but in a NoSQL it's eventual, right? Then if we will talk about the availability, then availability is high in a cloud spanner in the case of cloud spanner and in a NoSQL, but in a case of RDBMS it's a failover. Then if we will talk about the scalability, then we can scale the cloud spanner as a horizontal scale, and in a traditional we can scale but in a vertical scale. Then NoSQL also we can be horizontally scale, right? Then replication is also automatically, because it's a maintaining by the Google, so it will automatically replicate your DB. But in the case of traditional and in the case of NoSQL, we have to configure that replication thing. So if we will compare with the RDBMS and NoSQL, so you will see that this Cloud Spanner or new SQL is a high advantage you get in case of we will compare with these three. And if we will see this cloud database portfolio, so you will see that this Cloud Spanner is come under the relational database. So here you will see the cloud SQL and Cloud Spanner is under the relational. So what is the difference between them? So if you don't know what is the difference between the cloud SQL and where we have to use the cloud SQL and where we have to use cloud spanner, so comment below and I will teach you and I will show you what is the difference between them, and then you can easily differentiate where you can use the cloud SQL and where you can use the cloud spanner. So let's move to the code, which is Spring Boot code, and here you can see I'm using the Java 11 with some dependencies for the Spring Cloud GCP dependencies, and here I'm adding one dependency which is a Spring Cloud GCP Starter Data Spanner, and second dependency is a Spring Boot Starter Data REST, which is a part of the Spring Boot. And this GCP Starter Data Spanner is a part of the Google Cloud. Then if we will move below, so this dependency is not that much important for you because it's for the test related dependencies. So that's it for this example. Now next thing is to move to the resource part, and here you can see this in the application.property file. You will see there is a project ID, there is an instance ID, then database, then emulator, and the auto. This is you already aware about this thing, right? So what we will do in this tutorial, we are going to configure our emulator, then we will connect that spanner emulator with our Spring Boot application. So first thing first, so I just open this readme section, and here you will see some command we have to run. So first thing, we have to create an emulator, right? Then we will configure the other thing. So let me open my cmd, and here I will run this command. So before running this command, you just have to ensure that this Google Cloud SDK is installed in your system, and this gcloud command is running in your command prompt. Then after you can do that. So I'm just using the Windows, so I'm showing you in the command prompt, and for the Mac and for the Linux it would be the different uh, installation, but the command would be the same. So let's start with the first command, which is the gcloud config configuration create emulator. So I'm just going to create a emulator. So as I already created the emulator, so it will throw the error, and it's showing like cannot create configuration emulator, it's already exists. So no issue with that. If you will do first time, so it will not show any error, but as I already created, so it's showing the error. So let's move to the next command, which is a now we have to disable the credentials, because if we will not disable that, so it will ask us to configure from Google Cloud Console. So we don't want to do that, so we have to firstly disable the credentials. So I will firstly disable the credentials. Now it's updated the properties here. Then I'm just going to create a project, and my project name is the NV local. This is a project name, and the rest of thing is the command here. So I will just add here, and my project name is the NV local. Now it is asking me to you do not appear to have access to the project NV local, or it does not exist. Are you sure you wish to set property? So yeah, I wish to set this property. So this is updated now. Now next thing is to update. We have to set our API endpoint. We have to override, right? So that thing, you will see there is a 9020 we are going to set here. Why this port number we are using? Because when we will start our spanner emulator, so it will run over the 9020 port. That's why. So this one is also updated. The next thing is to verify the current active configuration. So whatever configuration we did till now, we will just ensure that, verify that is it properly set or not. So here you can see there is everything is fine. My project name is also showing here, and active configuration is an emulator. So CLS, just clear it. The next thing, we have to switch to our, by default it is our emulator is activated over the default, so we have to move it to the emulator. So if we are using the emulator, this command is not for you. This command we have to run. So now we are going to activate our emulator, and it will also update the property here. So now it's fine. So let's move to the next command, which is where we have to start our spanner emulator locally. So now I am going to start my emulator, spanner emulator. So here you will see 9020 port is running, right? This will execute the Docker. So Docker is also a prerequisite to run the spanner emulator. So when it will run, then I will show you the Docker file, Docker, where it will run. So currently you will see I have some instance of this cloud spanner emulator. The third one is also come here when this command will run properly. So it will execute the Docker. So Docker is prerequisite, and here you can see the REST server is listening over the 9020 and gRPC server is listening at 9010. So currently I'm just using, as you remember, 9020 I was overridden there because I'm using the REST server. When we will use the gRPC server, then we will use 9010 for overriding, right? So just minimize that, and I'll just show you what I did in this program. So the Pomodoro example I already show you. So first thing is the model. So here when I open this, and here you can see in the model, in the model entity there is a table annotation, and this table annotation, you will see this table annotation is coming from Spring Data Spanner, not from the Spring Data GPA, right? So remember that thing. And for the primary key, we are using the primary key annotation. Then column annotation, we provide that how as we do in the Spring Data GPA. If you are not aware about the Spring Data GPA, you can check out my playlist there, where you can see the Spring Data GPA tutorial. Then we have a trader ID, we have a action, we have a price, share, symbol, and curve. So currently I'm not using the long walk. You can also use the long walk, right? So by long walk you can create this default constructor, parameterized constructor, and getter setter. That's it. These are the entity class. Then we have to create the repository, and in the repository you will see we are using the spanner repository instead of GPA repository, right? And provide the trade and the key also there. So this is also interface, and this one is annotated with repository rest resource, right? Then we are created the service interface, and where we provide these two methods. First one is to get all the trades, and second one is to save the trades. Then we implement that things, and here you can see this is a normal, as we are using the Spring Data JPA, where we are using to find all repository dot find all dot for each, and these are the basic thing which you, if you work on the Spring Data JPA, you can see that. If you are not aware, so I'm just recommended you to firstly see that video, then come to this video. Then for the saving the trade, we are using the method save method here. Then if we will go in the controller part, and here you can see we created the two API. First one is a get API, second one is a post API. Post API is responsible to save the trade data, and get mapping is to get all the trade data. So currently I'm just using I'll just for show you how it is working. So I'm just using these two mapping, and this is task for you guys. You have to create all the CRUD application by helping with this video, and also I will provide the GitHub link in the description section. So you just check out this code and try to complete this code. So, and when you will completed that, just let me know in the comment section, so I will give the heart to you. Then these are the basic things. Now our emulator is started. So first thing is to create a DB, right? So let's move again here, and here you can see I have to firstly create a instance. So my instance name is a test instance, right? And we have to tell our command prompt that this instance is just, we have to configure for the emulator. And generally in the spanner emulator, for the prod when we will deploy our code over the prod, and when we create the instance over the prod section, so maximum we can create 3 node. It's a recommended thing, right? And for our emulator we don't need much node here, so we just use one here. So let's create our instance here. So let me copy that and run. Okay, it's in this command prompt we are running this. So we will just minimize that and open a new cmd, and here we just paste it here, and it will create one instance which name is a test instance. So it's working now, it's done. Now we will create our spanner db, test db. So let me create this one also, and we have to provide the instance name. So instance name is a test instance, and our database name is a test db. So it will create one db for us with this instance. So let them complete. Now our database is created, and in the docker you can see there is a one item is come here, tender wing, which is showing a green, and this one is our running emulator. Okay, so now our emulator is completed, our instance is created, our database is created. Now we have to see like it's really created or not. So here there is a one application with the db viewer, and IntelliJ is also provide this feature, but this one is not for the community edition. You have to purchase that thing. So I'm just using this db viewer. You can also use that, and here you can see spanner. Why it's not showing spanner? Okay, in the sql, let me search all here, Google. So as I show you, the cloud sql and cloud spanner. If you want to know the what is the difference between the cloud spanner, cloud sql and BigQuery, so let me know in the comment section. I will create a separate video for that, but for this video we are just going to discuss about this cloud spanner. So let them create, and here I have to provide this project, and we local which we created there. Then instance is a test instance, and our database is we created a test db. Let me check test db. Okay, so let me copy that. Okay, and here just paste it, check the connection. So everything is fine, click on ok, then finish. Then there is a one issue. When I will try to open that and try to open this table, you will see this permission denied, caller is missing im permission, right? So what we have to do, we have to copy this auto config emulator true, and go there, click on the edit connection, provide here, check again the test connection. Okay, then okay, and reconnect the db. Then you can see there is a default, there is a table, and here currently it's a blank, right? So we have to create a table for us. So let me go there and copy this one is a trade table, and let me create one table. So let me open a sql editor, open sql editor here, then paste, and here the table is created. So if I will refresh that, you can see there is one table is coming. Okay, everything is fine. Now what we have to do, we have to just run our application and see this. So let me run this. So now you can see currently it's running over the 8080 because I'm not changing my port, so by default it's running in the 8080 port. And let me open my spanner example. Here you will see, and this one is also I provided here this curl.httpd. There is a curl I am providing here for the post and for the get. So whenever you will be check out this given link, you will see these files also there. So I will just open that, and here I'm just providing the Java puzzle. And if I will send this, so currently it's showing the error. Okay, so what error we see here, let me check. It just open, and currently it's showing instance not found. So the issue is, like here you can see there is a trade instance is currently I'm just setting here, but in because we created our instance which name is a test instance, okay, and our DB name is a test DB. So let me copy that and change that in my application.property file. So let me copy this one also, and let me copy this one also. So go to the application.property file, and project ID is the same, right? So firstly change this DB test DB, and this one is our test instance. So now everything is fine. So let me rerun my application. So let me run this again. So I will just send it. Now this time you will see it's inserted. So let me check is really inserted. So I will just click on the get, set the none, and when I send this, you will see the data is storing. Let me verify again. So just post it and go in the raw section and change it to hello viewer. Okay, and set it to sell stock. I'm just adding one. Then click on the send. Now it will store. Let me verify that this time there should be a two data will be shown there. So let me see. Yeah, first one is the hello viewer, second one is the Java puzzle. So now as you can see, we are going to relate our cloud spanner with our Spring Boot application. So thank you. If you see this video is helpful for you, just share with your friend, like, share and subscribe, and press the notification bell for the more videos notification. Thank you.